So if you saw my post today, the photo challenge for today is something homemade. So I shared that I've been doing some homemade butter this week. I'm trying to make a bunch so that I can put it in the freezer so I don't have to do this all the time. And this is cultured butter. And I've already had 1.5 million questions about this. Butter is incredibly easy to make, and cultured butter makes it so that this is actually live probiotics in here, and we've been trying to get a lot more cultured products into our body. So I'm going to show you. So to make regular butter that's not cultured, it's super, super easy. But if you want to make it cultured, it's actually really easy as well. So I started with this real buttermilk. This is from Cultures for Health. I love them. They have instructions. They've got videos. So what you do is you take your starter, and there's different ways you can do this. This is just the way I did it. So I got the real buttermilk because you can make buttermilk, butter, sour cream, all out of the same culture, and then they're all cultured. So what you're gonna do is there's 2 little packets in here. You take one of the packets, and you're gonna take a quart-sized jar of heavy cream. Has to be heavy cream to make butter. So you do heavy cream. If you wanna make buttermilk, you can just do regular milk in it. But you do heavy cream, you add the little packet of starter, and then you let this sit for 24 hours on your counter. And then it's cultured. I mean, it's literally so easy. So, I mean, it takes, 2.5 seconds to do all that. And you let it sit for 24 hours. For a few hours, up to 24 hours, then the butter making process is faster if it's already chilled. So that's what I did with these 2, is I chilled these. These are both cultured. I can't do this one-handed. There we go. These are both cultured and put in the fridge. And then I poured in half. I'm only doing half at once because this ends up really, really thick. So I'm putting this in my food processor. I know you can use a blender, like a high-powered blender, like a Vitamix. It just never works that well for me. So this is my $30 food processor from Amazon. I've had this thing for like 6 years. It was literally 30 bucks. I one day want like the really expensive, nice $300 ones. But hey, for 25, 30 bucks, this thing works very well and has held up over the years. Okay, so depending on if your heavy cream was chilled or not, if it's room temperature or if it's chilled, it's going to go a lot faster, but it's going to take 5 to 10 minutes or so to make butter. So all you do is you turn it on high and you let it do its thing. Okay, this has been whipping. Oh, let me get my spatula. This has been whipping for just a couple minutes, and the first thing it does is it starts to turn into heavy whipping cream. So that's what you do with heavy cream. It turns into whipped cream first. So if you've never made homemade whipped cream, that's as easy as it gets. Oh, I actually forgot. I am making salted butter. My husband asked for salted. Okay, so I'm gonna actually just add the salt in this step just to make it a little easier. So I added some of my red. And then I'm gonna turn it back on. So now it's just gonna go for a few more minutes. And then what you're gonna notice all of a sudden is it's gonna start kind of clumping. And then all of this water, actually buttermilk, is gonna start splashing off of it. And you know that you're okay, you can see liquid is starting to come off. The butter is almost done. I'm gonna move this so you can see lighting a little bit better. But here's the butter. I mean, it's amazing you saw it a second ago, it was white whipped cream, and then all of a sudden it turns into this yellow butter. And so what you're gonna have now is you have this buttermilk. And so you're gonna drain the buttermilk. And your very last step, this is most time intensive, but it's not bad. Once you drain, I'm one-handed right now, so once you drain the buttermilk off, you're gonna press the butter like up against the bowl, and it'll start draining out the buttermilk. So do that a few times. You wanna work out as much buttermilk as you can to keep it as fresh as possible, and then you can put it into whatever container you want. I mean, it looks just like regular butter, but it tastes amazing. And it's fresh and it's cultured, and it's so easy. I mean, you turn it into, if you don't want to make cultured, you could just throw it in your blender. Heavy cream, throw it in your blender. 5 minutes, you have butter. So easy. All right, let me know what questions you have. Okay, I've already had a few questions, one of which is what you do after you've made the milk. I have all this beautiful buttermilk now. What do you do with this? Well, of course, this is just cultured buttermilk now. You can use, if you do a lot of baking, then you can use this in cultured buttermilk. But what I'm gonna do with this is you can now take this buttermilk that's left over and you can now reculture new batches of butter. So this is gonna be your starter now. So you're gonna pour like a 1/4 cup of this into a pint size, for lunch. Then you can pour a 1/4 cup of this into a pint of cream, and then leave it out for 24 hours on the counter, and you're going to culture new batches. So with buttermilk, with butter, this will culture for 7 generations. This is buttermilk right here.
It's from butter?
Yeah, this is the milk that's left over after making butter.
That's the milk?
Yeah, do you want to drink it?
Yeah.
You could. It's a little sour. Okay, sorry, the boys had questions. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do. So it is, anyway, that's what I was saying. So it cultures for 7 generations. I'm on the 3rd generation, meaning you make your starter, that's the 1st generation. Then you make 1 batch of butter, 2nd. So this cultures up to 7 generations. So with one cup, you can make 4 quarts of butter, and then if you took the buttermilk off of each of those, you could actually make a ton of butter before you need to do a new culture. So that's kind of my plan right now, is to kind of just use this buttermilk and make like massive amounts of butter over the next week, and then I can just stick it in the freezer, and then I have fresh cultured butter for a month or 2, maybe longer, that I didn't have to make fresh every single day or every single week. So it takes a little bit of time up front this week, although it's super easy. It takes like a few minutes a day. So that's what I'm doing with this buttermilk, but you can do anything you want with it.